Okay, I call this meeting, December 21st meeting of the Underhill Planning Commission to order. I have one addition to the agenda, super quick from Brad. Does anyone else have an addition to the agenda? No public comment. So let me quickly give Brad's addition. So last week, my to-do was to talk to Brad about whether there's a way to, there was a concern that because of the hiring process, we end up sort of losing candidates. So Brad said the one thing we could do, and he has to check on how we would have to do this, like legally is not really the word I mean, but how we would change the process. Not every town, the planning commission has to approve, like nominate the planning and zoning. He said it's a hangover from when the planning commission and DRB were together. He said one thing we could do if we wanted is to say, hey, we don't need to be involved. You, select board, take it over. So that doesn't mean that like we couldn't participate in interviews and stuff if we wanted to, but Brad said that's one thing that might speed. He wasn't even advocating for this. He's like, I think we move as quickly as most small towns do, but if you wanted to try to cut something out and cut out a couple days, that's kind of all I can think of. I don't even know how I feel about this. I was just talking to him about this before the meeting started. So we don't have to decide tonight, obviously, but that's sort of reporting back with my to-do. So maybe we don't have a candidate right now anyway, so we can maybe mull it over and decide or not decide at the January meeting. So,
so I guess it doesn't.
Don't forget about your mic, dude.
So I guess it's not actually written in the bylaws as to how the procedure goes.
That's what Brad would have to look at as to how we would change it. And I apologize, this literally just happened. So I forgot to ask him about it until I came to town hall earlier. So,
well, it's something to think about.
Mm-hmm. So I will make a note of that for our first meeting in January. Do we want to take PC out of hiring process? And we can circle back on it. That takes us to approving the minutes. Did anyone have any comments or questions on the November 16th or December 7th minutes? You can use this one, Roy.
Okay. I think on the one they said wildlife crossing, and I meant wildlife corridor.
Okay, so why don't we vote to approve it? Oh, I see it on the December 7th. So we'll vote to approve it. I'm making that change, corridor. And then, just so everyone knows exactly what that reads, it says additions to agenda. Commissioner Dunphy asked to add discussion of wildlife crossings to the agenda. I'm changing it to wildlife corridor. Any other comments? Let me just make sure. So Tim wasn't here on December. Oh, you're not looking good here, Tim. Tim wasn't here for either one of these, but we still have a quorum. Is that right? Yeah, you were there on the 16th, right? Yeah, okay. So that's the other change we'll make is that Tim was
that
here.
was the last meeting. You weren't the 16th, 2 weeks ago you were here?
December 7th?
I just looked at the minutes that we reviewed, so I was only absent on one of them.
Yep, okay, got it. Oh, you're right, Tim, I misread it. Sorry, yep. Sandy, did you have any comments on the meeting minutes? Okay. I'm going to make a motion to approve November 16th and December 7th meeting minutes. Is there a second? Second from Bart. All in favor?
On the 7th, I wasn't here, but I think there's a quorum anyway.
Yes. And actually, it shows you as absent. Correct. So that's correct. So yeah, we're good anyway. We have a quorum. Thanks for flagging that though, David. Okay, so those are done. That takes us, I think, to you, David, but I have to check. Yeah, oh no, sorry, one more thing. And we will not move off this agenda item until I get suggestions. That is List of 2023 accomplishments for the town report, because otherwise I can never come up with anything to write. So, starting at the end of the table with Sandy. What should we put in the town report? You know how we have to write a little blurb about what we did, all the commissions do. What do you think were the highlights for 2023?
The presentation of the climate change action plan.
And then we could add that we scheduled some speakers around that as well.
Right.
Okay. On that point, by the way, just so everyone knows, the speaker who was going to come in at the last meeting, Sandy touched base with her, and she's going to instead come in the first meeting of January. And speakers. Sandy's off the hook. Boris?
What comes to mind for me is just the revamp of the ADU language. At least that's, since I've been here, that's kind of been the main focus. So,
Mr. Frost.
Just a review of the bylaws and reviewing the trails.
The trails. Okay.
Can't take them all, Tim.
You're in the toughest seat, Roy. I hope you got a good one. Bart? What else did we do? David? What comes to mind for you?
Well, what I'm doing tonight on the non-conforming lots.
Oh, yeah, I'm forgetting
Clarification of that.
non-conforming lots, and then 80, what was the third
And
thing
80.
you worked on, though, that we wrote up that we sent to the town lawyer?
Memory.
I have it.
can't remember.
I'll find
Yeah.
it. I'll find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A quick review of the minutes might pick up something.
Roy?
I don't have anything to add to that.
I know there's another thing we sent to the town lawyer, and I will find what it was. Okay. Yeah, Sandy?
That was the distance between
Oh, yeah.
ADU and primary dwelling. Not an ADU, but a structure.
Yeah. Maybe that's.
And the
it may-
distinction between a structure and an ADU.
Accessory structure versus ADU.
Well, no, yes, right, accessory structure versus
Okay.
ADU.
We did discuss the setback requirements for the ADUs also, and we didn't change them,
Right.
did we?
Including reviewing setbacks. Sandy, did you have had something else too?
Yeah, although this wasn't a major thing, we did sponsor the video on the farms of
Oh,
Underhill.
yeah. Sponsored video on Farms of Underhill.
Phase 1, I would say.
Oh, we spent a lot of time on
ARPA funds.
ARPA funds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A review of ARPA funds against the town plan, really, right? Yeah. Okay, thanks, everyone. That's very helpful.
We also reviewed the cannabis guidelines from the state.
Yep. Okay, thank you. And I believe that takes us to start of the show this evening, David Edson, non-conforming lots.
Okay. We were talking about contiguous properties and and whether a division of a property would result in two lots or not. And they're talking about contiguous lots. And I thought that looking over Chad's Road is a good example of what can happen with lots having to go around the division by a private road. So this is Chad's Road development many years ago. And Yeah, I couldn't print them out in color, but anyway, you can see that that lot number 1 is actually across from Chad's Road. The only way to get 10 acres there was to run the actual property up to the middle of the Pleasant Valley Road, which is a right-of-way, in which I own basically. So we included the half of the right-of-way of the Pleasant Valley Road to connect the lots up to make a 10-acre lot, and only came out to 10-acre .4. The road couldn't really go anywhere else due to the configuration of the property. So that resulted in this kind of a situation. So that's
You
a kind
could
of,
make a fortune, David, by charging tolls
yeah.
headed north on Pleasant Valley.
Yeah, that's an idea, right? So we had the same problem with lot number 3. And Chad's Road is actually in a separate parcel. And so we come up to lot number 4 and stop 10 feet before it on the road. And then there's a right-of-way for lot number 3 with a 10-foot stretch of, between the end of Chad's Road and lot 4, so that lot 3 ends up connected. And that only had 10 acres and 10.3 acres. So everything is kind of tight. And if the road actually divides properties so that lot number 1 would end up with 2 parcels rather than 1, but it's a 10-acre zone, so it wouldn't work, couldn't do it. Same with lot 3, basically. You'd end up with a problem there. Or if you ran the road somewheres down, if the road was down lower towards the bottom of the paper there, it gets wet and it's not a good place for the road at all. So you can end up with these kind of problems. And I think maybe this subdivision may have led into the, this was 83, 1983.
Was there zoning regulations that?
Oh, yeah.
There were.
I didn't have to go through, the planning commission was doing the subdivisions back then. So I went through the planning commission for the approval of the subdivision. So,
David, are lot
Yeah.
2 and 4, are they 10-acre lots as well?
yeah, they're all 10-acre lots.
Yeah.
Lot number 4 has, no, lot number 4 maybe, I forget the number of acreage there actually, but it's a little more than 10 acres. The others are pretty close, basically. So if the road was dividing the lots, it would not have worked, basically. We would have had maybe 2 lots instead of 4 lots. Maybe would have been able to do 3 lots, but it just would have made it difficult. And I think maybe the situation that we had here with these little strip connections, basically, at the end, on Pleasant Valley Road and at the end of Chad's Road, that the planning commission may have decided that lots should not be divided by a private road, but remain as contiguous and as a single lot, basically. So that's a reason for actually keeping the present situation, in which properties are deemed contiguous, even though divided by a road. That's for private roads. Now, if we eliminate the contiguous situation, if we eliminate this contiguous situation, then we're likely going to have a lot of non-conforming lots.
They won't conform because they're not large enough for the
Yeah,
the
they had a
district.
situation like Boris's, basically. On a town road or a state highway, if the property is divided, but it's seemed as one property, even though it's divided by the road, if we change that, then that means that we will have more non-conforming lots. We'll have 2 lots instead of 1. But is that clear? Yeah, so that can create more work for the Development Review Board because there'll be more site review, basically. The non-conforming may lead to other difficulties. So I don't think it's a good idea. And I don't think increasing lots by increasing non-conforming lots is a good idea. So basically, my opinion comes down to just leave it as it is.
And
Any
as is,
questions
sorry,
on that?
David, just to refresh my recollection.
Yeah.
So basically, as it is contiguous,
Yeah, okay.
the road,
Will you read the language?
yeah, could you just refresh at
Yeah,
least me?
okay.
Yeah.
Present language is, all right. It's in two parts. Number one, a parcel of land contained within a single unbroken parcel boundary, or two or more parcels which share a common parcel boundary or point. We eliminated that idea. That's a definition of a contiguous.
Got it.
Contiguous land, okay. So it continues, where one or more existing road right-of-ways bisect an existing parcel, the rights-of-way may be considered a boundary dividing parcels into two or more lots only if all portions of the parcel divided by the rights-of-way meet the minimum lot size required for the district in which they are located. So just leaving it as it is with a small change, basically, of taking out point and adding the word measurable.
I know Brad Holden I happened to talk to him just to tell him where we were headed with this, because I knew you were, and he was super supportive too of where you were going, David. He thought it didn't make sense to change it.
Oh,
So,
okay, you
yeah.
did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it just makes more work for the Development Review Board.
That's what he thought too. So,
Yeah. Good. Okay.
anyone have questions,
other,
concerns about that? So maybe what we do then is, if everyone's for it, maybe we just make a motion to approve the two changes you just mentioned, David. And then if you wouldn't mind just emailing the final draft to the group, I can
Yeah.
do the memo and send it off to Brad like we did with the other ones.
Yep.
And we'll be done with non-conforming lots.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So you want a motion on?
If you don't mind.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. A motion to delete from the first sentence the words or point and insert after the word common and before the word parcel the word measurable.
Is there a second? Sandy, all in favor? Aye. Well, if you could please just send that final around,
Yeah.
David, just so I make sure.
Yep.
Okay,
Well,
thank
okay.
you.
Yep.
So that takes us to
You put that on your list?
Already did right there, non-conforming lots. You can't read it because my writing's so bad, Roy. That takes us to January of 24 proposed schedule. So just so everyone's on the same page. So what we were going to do then, I'm thinking, pick up on last meeting, is the river hydrologist, I think is the right title, Sandy? Is that, okay. She's going to come the first meeting of January, which I want to say is the 4th. Yep. So I was thinking she was scheduled for an hour, so that we would do that for an hour, and then for the last half hour, we will take the list that I send around to everyone, and we can get organized. And that's the DRB list. So we'll do our river hydrologist, 30 minutes, just like get organized on this DRB list and figure out, it's pretty long, so some of them might just not be applicable anymore. Anyway, we'll start to work our way through that list. I'm guessing we might not even get through getting organized on that list. So if that's the case, then I think there will be no climate change speaker on the 18th. And I'm thinking what we will instead do is, this could change obviously based on the 4th, but based upon how far we get on the list, then I was thinking the meeting on the 18th would be some combination of getting through the rest of the list and starting whatever the first item is on the list, which we will know after the 4th, presumably, something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, the 18th will be all about the DRB list, whether it's finishing our initial review of the list, or if we somehow get through that on the 4th and get organized, then we can start to work our way down the list and just start with whatever we think the first item is.
I think that list is going to take a while to sort out. I think I looked at it, and there are some things on there that to me had obvious, obvious solutions, but some of them were pretty complicated. So I think it'd be good to, it's going to take several meetings to sort that out.
So probably the whole meeting on the 18th is really the list as well.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder if we want to have somebody from the DRB attend that meeting just to explain some of those, or,
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Good idea.
not that we want to get into a lot of specifics, but some of those, it's not obvious what exactly the issue is.
So maybe I should email Charlie and ask if he or someone else from the DRB wants to come on the 18th. Okay. Someone come on 118. Okay. Or should we have them come on the 4th?
No, because we won't get much.
We
done.
won't be, we're just trying to get organized on the
Right.
4th. Okay, so on the 18th.
We could come up with some questions for the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. That was easy. That is our January then. Okay. Anyone have anything else?
We also talked about having Brad or someone from the CCRPC come about mapping.
Oh.
So, maybe that's a February timeline.
Well, I know that's obviously super important, and also I know it's high on David's mind. So what we should say then, in the interest of doing that, is just looking ahead. What if the February 1st meeting, the first meeting in February, we see if we can get someone from, you think CCRPC or Brad to start with?
I think CCRPC, because they'll have knowledge of what all the other communities have done,
Okay.
what works, what the idiosyncrasies are.
Do you think I probably ask Brad if we can get someone from CCRPC, or do you know anyone there?
I don't know.
I'll ask Brad. Yeah, okay. You ask Brad about CCRPC for 2-1 mapping. Okay.
And I didn't talk to Christian yet because I didn't have any idea when he would
Right.
be asked to contribute to the mapping thing, so.
Yeah.
And actually, what part of mapping are we interested in hearing from him?
Maybe we talk to CCRPC first and then circle back to him because he's a local resource we might be able to bug to help us. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's our first 3 meetings of 2024. Thank you. Anything else? Well, we're like way ahead of schedule because non-conforming lots was so quick. Thank you, David. So there's really nothing else on the agenda unless someone else has something. So we could adjourn and have our holiday party. Does anyone have anything? Anyone? Yeah, we're good. Can I get a motion to adjourn and have our holiday party? David? Second? Bart? All in favor? All right. All right.
All right.
I will stop the recording.